who are hemorrhaging. Art and Vinny have been swept aside. Yuri, who was such a monster these last 2 days, as you said, probably the standout player for Furia. A lot of the plaudits go to Serato, but Yuri is certainly up there.
He's definitely underrated in that sense. He seems to be extremely consistent as well, which is obviously something you want out of sharp players. Right now, obviously, without the weapons, it's going to be tough to deal with. Like, seeing ecos go through, it's easier on certain maps, or Force Spies are easy to see having success in certain maps. Train becomes very quickly difficult to deal with, considering the long distances between the lanes. Ethan seems very eager to get some added cash to his name. Eventually he gets reward for his work as well.
Could be more. That flashbang was on point. Yuri's also going to be dealt with, meaning only one player will survive going through into round 3.
Not bad at all. So 1,200 extra in the bank for Ethan. And Ethan is actually one of the players who we talked about throughout 2018 as like him and Cirque were much more in the spotlight than what we saw out of Breezy for the better part of it. And I mean, absolutely deserved as well. They played phenomenally for the better part of it. But Ethan's had a bit of a rougher entry to, or a rougher start to 2019. And it's been continuing in for a while. Hopefully he can turn around his luck as we move on forward now with the new lineup. But obviously we know what he's capable of.
Aggression understandable for Furia. It's only Serato that had the deagle from the round prior. May as well throw in those USPs and see what sticks.
Breezy with the early 309 ADR. Not too shabby. And yeah, this is just a formality really for NRG at this stage. Just making sure that they don't mess up anywhere and keep as many people alive as humanly possible. Breezy just keeps tapping away. It's a bit of a scary notion when you see Breezy being so on point as he started off the game with. Yeah, that doesn't even need any sort of adjustment time to really find these headshots.
I mean, he's on 9 kills already. Sure, some of those have been anti-ecos, but he got a couple,
it's
2 or 3 in the
shots,
pistol
right?
round.
Yeah.
Yep. He has seemed like he's starting this off in some pretty fine form. However, big test coming up on the side of NRG. Furia have a full healthy buy, including an AWP in the hands of Art.
And that's always an exciting notion, really, to see what Art can come up with. What way he's going to find aggression. So on Vertigo, that's probably one of the maps where he was the least active. But pretty much anywhere else, he seems to rummage around. For now, he's going to be boosted up in Connector. Kind of peer across or over the smoke. Energy on their end, though. Just taking it slowly, setting up to make sure they get control over brown halls and white walls. Meanwhile, Breezy's hanging out over Ivy as a bit of a extremity lurk. Right now, you can see Furies with a double setup towards inner. Actually, as I say that, we have Art rotating out towards Yard as well, so that leaves Able J as the sole defender.
Yeah, and he's not in the most
ideal position.
Really not. He's going to be backing away. Does have Yuri watching the CT stairs, can quickly rotate towards the site, but now the terrorists are swarming, enveloping B. The plant will be at the back of the site in the standard default position. Able J just wants to stay alive until the rest of his team come in, but this is where Breeze and his position could be so huge. He's on the flank. No one's there to deal with him. And if they can stall this out long enough, that could be the difference maker, especially as Circus found Vinny. So everybody clumped in the middle of the site for the CTs. It's about to get very scary and sketchy indeed. The Pints are coming in. Frags across the board. It's too easy for NRG. They don't even lose a single player.
That was about as perfect of a round as you could have had for Energy there. They find the right timing. The second Art rotates away from the inner bomb side out towards Yard, and he actually rotates pretty deep as well. It goes on opposite side of bomb chain, so there's no quick rotation in from Connector. That's when Energy pounds. Just a simple splash, and as you said, Able J just kind of stuck in no man's land in terms of positioning. He didn't really have control over higher, didn't have an eye on lower as well, so he kind of has to give it up immediately, and that gives so much time for Breezy as well, because the rotation has to come in quick from Furia. They can't really allow themselves to hang back and see if there's going to be a flank at all. Yeah, pretty much the second Breezy gets to the steps of T-spawn, CT spawn, that means it's It's round over. And then back to pistols for Furia. Again, slow approach from NRG. Zerk's able to connect. Ooh, okay, so is Yuri. Zerk as well, not being able to control the spray of the SG. At least equal numbers for the time being.
Good old jump round the corner. Routine with the back 10. Yuri going to be stinging for the next round. It's looking good for an NRG 5-0 start to this best of 3. Couldn't have gone any worse for the Brazilians, and Breezy continues to shut them down. 13 kills, no deaths.
Yeah. Only down to 218 ADR, though. What a pleb. Well, he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here in the early game for NRG. 13 frags to his name. As you can see, the second highest fraggers on the NRG side is Ethan and Zerk on 4. But yeah, that's mainly down to the fact that Breezy's just been eliminating anything that's come on his monitor at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of his team's on 11 combined. So he is going above and beyond.
It's doing work. We're going to have another buy-in coming in from Furia. 4 Augs and an AWP on Art, and this time it's going to be a little bit more proactive. Not quick enough to get the drop on any of the NRG players. You can see Zerk being posted up already. Tries to rattle off a shot. And connects, though. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how much pressure NRG puts on that inner bomb side if they want to keep Furia honest, having them pretty much play with 2 players on the inner bomb side for the better part of a default round. So that's going to make it really hard for Furia to defend the outside area.
Now, this is the other side of the coin. It's not just that NRG have been brutalizing Furia. As we are going to see Art find Breeze. His first death has been gifted, but it's so few kills, they don't have that much utility to pick up. Vinny, though, spraying through the floor, gets himself Ethan. Tarek needs to be careful, because he's not long for this world if he peeks one too many times.
Yeah. Talk about knowing your angles there from Vinny. Just fully commit to this spray. Without even having seen anything at all, just going off of sound cues to find Ethan. Finally, man advantage for Furia as well.
For the first time, but that has been grabbed back. The lead annulled. But Vinny is going to re-establish it. Tarek, 1 on 3. And there we have it. The Brazilians enter the scoreboard. Their first round, but it's going to have to be one of many.
Yeah, they need to go on a bit of a run right now. As you can see, the money's not looking too great on their side when they have to reinvest. And we can see the updated odds from GD.bet here. NRG heavily favored at this stage. Makes sense as well. 1.08 for the North Americans on their map pick. So that's obviously something to keep in mind. Now then, obviously, healthy buy coming in from NRG side as well. Already, yes. Yeah. Bit of a firing squad, an airstrike being sent Queserado's way on top of the bomb train.
Straight up carpet bombed off the train. Abel J going to try and use that smoke to his advantage. A tracer of the bullets gives him away. Only good for the 1 kill. That's not good enough for Furia. Remember, they've just won 1 round. They can't afford to dip out here. Their economy is not in great shape.
Yeah, Abel J being the one with the most money left over at the time being, and he's sitting on 2.1. Just not going to do a whole lot here. Vinny has to retreat from Pop Dog for the time being as the Molotov comes out. And again, NRG have all the positioning really that they could ever want to set up either for yard execute or inner. No commitment really just yet though, with the bomb still being down over by the steps for white walls.
Flash really not going to do anything. Got to question the motivation behind that.
Art on a bit of a fact-finding mission, and somehow actually hits the quick scope onto Ethan. It's a big get.
There's another one.
With the follow-up. So what was looking so nice, and NRG pretty much had anything, you know, at their disposal in terms of what kind of executes they wanted to go for. Now they're down to 25 seconds, and they don't really seem to have a roadmap here for where they want to go. Zerk's peering out from Pop Dog. He's going to get spotted by Vinny as well. You need to get a move on here.
Yeah, they really do. 10 seconds coming up, and Zerk has been culled by Yuri, who goes in for seconds. Those 2 duels that kicked off around the 35, 40-second mark really were everything for Furia. If Art doesn't get the kill, they're going to be able to beeline it straight across to the outside bomb site. Not too shabby at all. So Furia just about holding on.
Fury with a great rotation as well around 5 train to find Cirque and eventually close it out with a kill onto Stanislaw. Much needed for Furia there to stay afloat. I think, yeah, the key frag there is Art on the fact-finding mission through Brown Walls, managing to connect onto Ethan in a situation where he has no business really winning out that duel.
Yeah, he got tagged down to 12, so I think he took a headshot, but still able to just about survive. And as you say, like that aggression, this is what we've been saying over the last couple of days. Art's aggression can just change rounds.
Yeah, for better or for worse, obviously. But yeah. Live by the sword, die by the sword in many ways.
It's very entertaining to watch. Because
Absolutely.
There is an element of uncertainty as to what's going to happen next, and that's what NRG have to be on their tiptoes for.
Yeah, and you can see what it does actually to to the players as well. I think when we saw them play versus United, it was just constant player camps and shots of them just face palming because Art was just showing up in places he wasn't meant to be. Bit of a shallow smoke for Pop is going to allow Tarek to peer over. Instead of actually finding anything, takes a significant brunt of damage here, down to 40.
It is a hefty grenade. Tarek's going to catch it in the pocket. Yuri going to be smoking down. Just to cordon off Ivy for the time being. There are 2 players there, Breeze and Cirque, to the AWPer. But they're also making their presence known up in box halls.
So that's where the bomb's rotating over as well. So they might set up for a similar inner strat as we saw last time around, with Breezy being the late lurk. This time, though, Art seems to be rotating into the right spot at the right time. Already posted up on second train. Actually going to jump over to Oil towards higher. So the defense on the side of Furia, they've got the right read as to what's going on. They also have Vinny pretty aggressively inside of Pop too, which means that he can potentially flank early on. See how quickly they actually react to this.
Similar setup for Breeze as well to rounds gone by, but he's going to start to pull back. Art, smoke coming out, knows that there's at least one player about to pivot onto the B side. Flashbang is good, but he's going to clear just in time for him to flick across to land his first kill. Abel J holds the line from the spools, and that is going to be all she wrote. Cirque can only watch by with the AWP and try and save it now. So Furia, 3 rounds on the bounce.
Cirque will be able to hold on to his weapon going into the next round, and there's still money on the side of NRG to buy up here. But yeah, Furia having the solid read there, and you can see how much of a difference it makes to just have 2 players on the inner bomb side. Obviously, good job by Art to be able to stabilize after getting flashed initially to find the first pick onto Tarek. Abel J doing a lot of work from spools too. That's all they needed. And again, like the entire flank, right? When you get the initial kills, you don't have to make a hasty rotation from the yard area. That obviously negates the entire power of Breezy's potential flank. It's big news if you're Furia. So 3 rounds on the board. Economy starting to look a little bit better. As they continue on with the double op setup. And he's seeing if he can get lucky through the walls. Timing's just a little bit off.
They tried the double nade setup again. Claim Quesorato.
Yeah.
He's learnt from his mistakes.
Barely grazes Vinny. See, loses 12 points of HP, and again, it's the 2-man setup towards Inner. A little bit more passive this time around. Again, NRG just playing this as default as possible. Kind of goes back to, I guess, what they were talking about. Alex mentioned this on the desk as well. The fact that for the time being, with how limited practice time they've had going between tournaments, that they're not going to be able to reinvent their T sides, right? They're going to have to rely on a lot of the ground framework that's been set up by DAPS already. And that's absolutely fair as well. I mean, they've got the players to potentially work with this. Gun Tip's going to give Yuri an early alert.
You don't typically play an AWPer there by itself either, so he's going to expect more than one. Leaves them very susceptible to just being sideswiped. Smoke in the eyes of Yuri. Speculative shots, nothing connecting. There's Quesorado. Comes in with the SG, using it against the terrorists. Another round that is slipping away from NRG after a 5-0 stomping. The tables have been turned. Furia are building their economy and their confidence.
Yeah, they're able to actually keep both ops alive in so many of these rounds as well. So even the potential risk of running double ops and reinvesting into it if somebody goes down and you're not able to retrieve it, that could also keep your economy at bay. That's not been the case so far. And eventually, NRG's money will run out, or at least run low. Even though they're building up a pretty hefty loss bonus at this stage, it's still not going to be enough to get everything you need unless you can get bomb plants as well. As a result of that, we're seeing them come back to pistols as well. Might be a bit of a quicker pace to their strat this time around as we see them barging through Ivy.
Yuri going to be pressed, but has K Serato to bolster the defense over on Ivy. It was aggressive, but it has been thwarted pretty comfortably. And another clean sweep, although Able J just about survives on 4 HP. I do wonder if we're going to see more of an aggressive set play on towards the B site coming up.
Could very well be. I mean, the defaults haven't really panned out as well for NRG as they wanted to once we saw weapons coming into the hands of Furia. So a change of pace might be what they need. And also, I think it's important to keep note as well the fact that this is, again, something they brought up on the desk, the fact that their T sides on the side of NRG have been looking pretty decent so far with Stanislaw coming in. It's been their CT sides that have been weakened. So now, obviously, getting off to a hot T start, but Fury being able to respond might put some added pressure on the assumed favorites here.
NRG going to call a tactical timeout just to rummage together some ideas. They have been clubbed these last few rounds. Been very convincing to say the least. Decent buy purchased, including an AWP for Cirque, who hasn't really had a huge amount of impact. I'd say Art has had a way more impactful frags, but they're going to be darting on a pop dog, accompanied by a flashbang. Vinny's going to have to try and retreat. No, he stands tall. He's going to put up 2 headshots, make it 3 in total kills. He is absolutely lighting this round up, taking it away from NRG after the tactical timeout. But Ethan has a few things to say. He comes in and overcomes 2 players before he is dealt with by Art's AWP. Cirque, plenty of time at his disposal, but Art's going to peek him too. And Furia take the lead for the first time.
The 3-man rotation through Pop is definitely something NRG we're aware of. Works out perfectly for Furia there. And as you said, Vinny having a masterful round there with 3 kills. So even if the tempo change comes in from NRG, he's still not able to find the round that they desperately need at this stage. It's been 6 in a row here for the Brazilians. This is just as good as you want it from Vinny. A bit of a half buy here from NRG. We can see AK in the hands of Ethan. See if he's going to be able to find something for himself.
Of course, the round loss is now brimming to the full for NRG, so they can afford to dip down a little bit lower with their purchases. Affords them a few more opportunities, but we've got to jump on top of one of them at some stage, Ven, because at one point they were looking so confident, they were just looking so smooth, everything was working, every duel was going their way, and now you're having these individual crazy performances from the likes of Vinny, who's just smacking them down.
Absolutely, just giving as good as it got it in the initial rounds. Breezy, who started off, what, 13-0?
Yeah,
Had
exactly.
a bit of a slowdown to his game. See what NRG can come up with for this one. I'm assuming it's going to be Ethan to lead the charge. See if he can find an opening towards either of the sides. From the looks of it, it's going to be the inner side. That's the name of the game. This is brazen from Vinny. Nice little smoke to allow him to peer up at the very least. But keep in mind, you're not exactly accurate sitting in that ladder.
Certainly not. Maybe just more of a scouting.
If you can spot some feet, I mean, if they're close enough to him, right? Like, there's a limit to how much the bullets can actually go straight.
Furia putting up the periscope. Haven't found anything, so he puts it back down again. A rush on to B. May catch Art in transition with a flashbang. This time it's Able J's turn, but he is going to fail after the first kill.
Easy being able to pick up Art, yeah. 2-1 trade. NRG get the bomb plant down as well. And they've gotten forward positions, and that's one of the most key factors on an inner take when you want to play the after plant.
Some weapons have now been picked up too on the side of NRG. This is going to be difficult. They're all playing up close and personal. Desert Eagle can't claim anything. They're looking to envelop the site, but Yuri, last player standing, has to piece out. One of the worst buys NRG have had. He's going to become successful purely off the basis of ruthless aggression on B.
Yeah, and that's NRG actually breaking the defense from Furia with 2 players set on the inner bomb site. Not something they were able to do on the first try and their first buy round, really. It might be a weakness that they can actually abuse going forward here. But a much needed round for NRG. They needed to stop that spree from Furia here to feel a little bit more comfortable about how this game was panning out. And this is something we've seen out of Furia time and time again throughout all their matches really so far in this minor. The second their run gets stopped and the opponent wins a round, it's an immediate tactical timeout. And to be fair, it feels like they've been able to kind of quench the momentum that their opponents have had off of it. Usually we see a pretty good response from them coming out of tactical timeouts. If it's Guerri's and all his note-taking that's doing the majority of the work or not. Can't really tell, but it's definitely working for them. So it's good to see them keeping it up and not getting flustered and kind of lost in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something that we often will criticize teams over is like, why haven't you called your timeouts? You have plenty of them.
You've lost 8 rounds in a row.
Exactly.
Like, why are you not talking this through?
Now it's time to mentally reset. So, yeah, don't let it slip out of control, especially on the CT side, and their economy is so much more vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, make sure that you can keep supplementing those AWPs, keep supplying them to the likes of Art and Yuri, who both have one in this round. So NRG, it's their first round in 6. They have broken the curse. But similar to what we said about Furia, it needs to be one of many if they want to end this half in winning ways. Flashbangs being exchanged. Ethan and Tarek claim the first 2. And now Stanislaw around the back with his AUG. And he's looking down to put the hurt for Furia.
Definitely puts the hurt into Yuri. He's all of a sudden left alone with 21 HP, and everybody knows where he is. Bomb plant's going to go down safely from Breeze, and Cirque's already got any sort of avenue into yard closed off here. Ooh, actually, Breezy giving him a potential opportunity to find a frag, but again, it's going to be tough for him to actually make it out of here. Stanislaw playing this angle smart as well, just not holding the angle versus an op.
Yeah, but Breeze has already moved into position to deal with the retreat. He'd gone into T-spawn with the SGs, had the scope, primed, eagle-eyed onto Ivy. There will be no survivors. Taking no prisoners, they regain the lead 7-6. The economy, because of that double AWP purchase, is going to be rough. It may even mean that Fury have to go for more of a half buy. I'm very curious to see what kind of purchase we're going to see coming up here.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have the money to reinvest into double ops. And this is with them winning, as you said, 6 rounds in a row. Just so expensive to be able to maintain that.
Solid fragging by Cirque, and let's see then. They do have an AWP, but it means that Yuri's down to a Desert Eagle. And again, early trade, NRG will be happy with this. The economy hasn't really allowed them to get too many grenades either, but Art is rattling off frags. A bit unfortunate not to get the frag there, but he goes aggressive. He's been really flirting with this idea for quite a few rounds and nails Breeze in the face with the AWP. 7-7.
Started off with 1 up, but ends up getting 4 kills with 2 different ones in the end there. Not too bad at all from the Brazilian side. And yeah, it's that unexpected aggression coming out from Vinny through Pop. As you said, has been toying with it for quite some time, but finally sets the plan into action.
I have to say, whatever happens here, though, if you'd offered NRG 7 rounds on the T-half, I feel like they would have bit your hand off.
Yeah.
It's a very solid first half performance.
Most people will happily take that. But again, it's still been an impressive comeback on the side of Furia. Keep in mind, they went down 0-6. Or 0-5, I should say.
He finished this half in the lead yet. Not if Abel J has something to say about it, but his teammates are being thinned around him. He can now be aggressed on by Breeze, but flicks down and takes the head off his shoulders. Stanislaw, 1-on-2. It's down to the 2 players. K Serato faces off against him. He realizes that B side should be clear and is making a fast move across. Going to be going for the plant. It's out in the opening. Actually, he's going to fake that, try and get K Serato up close. He would have heard the footsteps. K Serato around the corner. 1 tap from Stanislaw. And I'll be thinking that's why we picked him up. 8-7 lead at halftime for NRG.
That's very well done. I don't even think he, I guess, committed to the fake plant long enough for the beep sound to come out. But yeah, definitely smart decision from Stanislaw. Clutches it out for his team. And well, that does mean NRG close out the first half 8-7, but still lots of Counter-Strike left to be played. We're going to have a 1.5-minute commercial break, but join us back to see the conclusion of
Welcome back to our first best of 3 between NRG and Furia. Train 8-7 on the T side to NRG, and now the roles will be reversed. A very solid start, but it could have been a whole lot better than. At one point, they were 6-0 in the lead.
Yeah, no, they were having a field day there, especially Breezy. He started off the game, what, 13-0? Just pretty much doming whatever he wanted. Didn't matter what kind of avenue he approached, but Furia managed to scrape back here once they got double ops into their hands, started to put up much more resistance, also kind of getting a better read of what NRG wanted to do when we saw the slow down tempo with the defaults from the North American side. Became a little bit too predictable for Furia to deal with, and then you throw in some aggression here and there from certain of the players, whether it's Art, Vinny on the side of Furia, and NRG got a little bit flustered. There we go. 8-7 is the first half score.
Oof.
Breezy, okay, he might have started us off in the same fashion they did on the T side. Excellent opener onto Art.
That will be a terrifying prospect if that continues to be the case. Breezy, though, going to get flashbanged, able to wipe away flash from his eyes. Looking to reaggress, headshot delivered, first class to Vinny. There may be more, and he will lock them all down single-handedly. He's done his work. The rest of his team now needs to come and clear up. Queserato, 1-on-4. Has a P250, so at the long-range excursions, he could be successful. But he's running out of bullets, he's running out of health, and he's going to be dead to the hands of Tarek. 9-7, NRG pick up both pistol rounds.
Yeah, Breezy, I mean, we said he slowed down. He's still sitting at 21-10. So it just didn't keep up in that formidable pace as we saw him start off with. But I guess pistol rounds is his thing. That's 3 extremely solid shots coming in from Breezy there. Just makes it easy work for the rest of his team, really, when he finally goes down. We have it. So both pistol rounds go the way of NRG. It's usually a recipe for success on the side of Furia. Not too much invested here. They're just going to hope for a bomb plant here as they make their way towards the inner bomb site. That's a solid nade as well from Stanislaw.
Good Molotov, too. It's actually going to force them to take so much damage on their endeavor. Down to the site. They just want to get the bomb planted. That is the mission they've set for themselves, and they will be successful. At this stage, NRG should blitz through them, retrieve the site. But yeah, that bomb plant is pretty huge. It ticks their economy forward. That's what the Brazilians were looking for.
Absolutely. Stanislaw not being able to jump up immediately onto the bomb train is what causes him to go down and Furia to get the bomb plant. But in the grand scope of things, NRG feeling pretty okay with this. And it's not like Furia wouldn't have been able to buy up regardless in the upcoming rounds. But yeah, a little bit extra to their name allows them to get some additional utility and potentially an op actually on Art as well.
Bulgarian feeling it. Now has the AWP. Full SGs. It makes sense on a map like Train where you do have these more expansive angles on the likes of the A site where Art will find Ethan. Aggression through the Molotov, catches Ethan off guard. He will be momentarily silent. Cirque, though, going to get the freebie onto Vinny. A bit surprising he dropped down like that without any knowledge of who could be there.
I might not have expected an op coming out at this stage.
They are going to return fire, though, with an aggressive play outside Pop Dog. E-Box, the sanctuary of Tarek. He's using it as his shield, as his guardian, able to reload the MP9, come back in for seconds. It's going to be more frags, more bloodshed, all stacked against Furia. Art cannot get anything to stick, just the one kill at the end. So NRG continue their winning ways.
They do. Not having even fully invested into this round as well. You saw 2 SMGs in play. Derek just getting a hefty amount of cash as well. Also picks up a Krieg. So free upgrade for him. He's going to have a ton of cash to move forward. Actually drops off a weapon for one of his teammates as well. So NRG looking pretty fine and dandy as we start off. And to round 19, a solo SG on Art here. Hoping to see a bit of a heroic play coming out of him to bring them back into this. You also have 2 smokes, 3 flashes, so there's a potential to either set up for yard smokes. You get that 5-6 smoke down, potentially 1 around connector as well. Allows you to get a lot more room to work with. But also, deep smoke towards inner can also do wonders for you. Especially if the main goal is to get a bomb plant down, obviously, to shore up future investments. For the time being, majority of Furia is set up towards the inner bomb site as well.
What it does mean, though, is it does hamper their ability to potentially get an AWP in the next round.
That is very true.
Which on a map like Train, you desperately need. Smoke's coming out. There's going to be a full set play onto B. Good counteractive Molotov on the ramp. Going to stall them a few more seconds. And a smoke behind it. Perfect utility thus far. Still plenty of time, though, in the round. Furia don't have to pull the trigger behind this. The downside is they've already expended pretty much their entire utility. They're only got a flashbang left. So they kind of have to go forward.
This is going to have to be a godly flashback from AbleJ to get Stanislaw off his angle. He's going to spot a foot as well. So they know what's coming.
They're also probably worried and cognizant of a potential flank van. No one is watching the back right now, so they feel like the only way is going forward. They have to press forward onto the site and smash it, vaporize any defenders. But it's only Stanislaw that has been dealt with thus far. Now the rotation, now the flank is coming in. It's going to be Tarek that mows down Quesarado. They do get another bomb plant, which again isn't too bad. But
yeah.
NRG going to take a 12-7 lead.
Yeah. Again, it's somewhat mission accomplished for Furia. Obviously, they would have liked to have more findings than just Stanislaw on the bomb site, but you take what we can get at this stage. The problem is that the gap is starting to grow a fair bit here. As you said, 12 rounds for NRG already. We're getting into the stage where, as you said, hard to get an op in the hands of Art with the economy how it finds itself. They will have one now. Actually, that's Quesarado dropping it off.
Yep, off the back of getting the bomb plant down.
Yep.
Really helped them.
But again, this drains their bank, you know, to the absolute bottom as well. So it means that they won't have too many chances of having these kind of buys. So they need to make them work as quickly as possible. So NRG are getting dangerously near map point.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like all well and good you're getting bomb plants here and there in eco rounds, but you've got to actually start to do something with them. You've got to start converting them. You're going to run out of time otherwise.
Absolutely. We'll see, though, kind of default we can see coming out of Furia if they're able to have a little bit more success actually than what we saw NRG have with their default rounds on the T side. And for now, they still have enough utility here to move forward. They have the Molotov as well on AbleJ that you can use to kind of section off parts of Ivy as well. They've left the bomb, though. Let's see if this is something that they want to fully commit on. Actually doing this, getting really far forward in Ivy without too much utility. They're going to set up a smoke for back six. Breezy's on top of the train, though, so it's not really going to affect them a whole lot. Yeah, nets him 2 kills as well. Just the perfect position to deal with that. Art's going to get the return, but still damage has been done.
That wasn't far off either with the smoke bang shot from Art. It was eerily whizzing past the ear of Cirque. Art is going to make sure that this isn't a complete lost cause. He's keeping them in this, trying to erode away the A defense. The bomb has now been picked up and making a move across, but it's all on Quesarado. He has seen Cirque. He's definitely seen his leg just underneath the bomb, shimmying back and forward. Deals with Cirque, has no idea where the remaining 2 players are. He's going for the gamble. He's just going to go for the full plant at this time. Doesn't want to draw this out too long. Catch them in 2 separate 1v1s. Spots Ethan, does significant damage. This is in the realms of possibility, but there is Stanislaw from the side of Connector. 13-7 the score, NRG getting fired up.
A bit of a war shot from Stanislaw there, and you can see Quesarado just not being aware of the potential avenues, or, well, being aware of far too many avenues, I suppose, that Stanislaw could arrive from. Allows the in-game leader of NRG to get the drop on him. And we see the updated odds from GGBet. They haven't really turned any nicer if you were hoping for a Furia favor, I guess, in that sense. Now into the double figures in odds. Well, you can't really argue with how the trajectory of the match has been going. Looking at that.
That's some 6 break control with the SG.
Absolutely. To
get Yuri after AbleJ, not a bad return shot either from Art.
Just having found the perfect position as well to deal with that. Normally when you see players either playing by 5-train or the back of 5-train to hold off, similar to what we saw Yuri do later on in Furia CT half, right? If that smoke pops down, you have no control over Ivy anymore. So it's a fortunate turn of events for NRG, but obviously you need to make the most of it as well, and Breezy definitely does. 23 kills to his name right now.
I think as he really started things off with a bang, but it's been the rest of his team now that have caught up to him. They're all pulling their own weight. They're all having their impact. The likes of Stanislaw and Cirque now getting involved. Ethan too.
Oh, Tarek. Definitely been spotted turning the corner there, so we see the flash coming out, and he's going to duck out as well. He realizes.
I think he saw Quesarado's shoulder too.
Yeah.
They saw each other, so they just both kind
It's
of
like, if I commit to this angle, I'm going to die eventually.
have a gentleman's agreement to just back away and pretend nothing happened.
Reset. 4 SGs from Furia, though. Need to get to work here. Art, not being as aggressive as we saw him in the previous round with an SG. Didn't dive for the potential pop pick. Cirque's been boosted up on connector here. So he's going to be able to circumvent any sort of a deep smoke. The Furia wants to get out into yard. That's exactly what happens. Not even without a smoke. Art just trying his luck, see if he can find a timing to veer out.
And no flashbang or anything to precede the push. That is always going to be a very risky endeavor. As you say, though, maybe trying to just catch them off guard. You don't expect to push without a flashbang.
Yeah.
But Art is up to the task. Obviously boosted, or Cirque, I should say, is up to the task, boosted up on the connector.
With the passive setup, though, it does allow for Furia to get pop control. Out they go. Cirque's going to miss a shot as well. Not expecting Quesarado to come out of pop, but still, Ethan's been able to find Vinny.
Yeah, even though Cirque was missing, he drew 2 players fire towards him, so it allowed Ethan to open up. Breezy now going to try and clean up the rest, but Furia are getting some success. 15 seconds to go. Quesarado's been dealt with. Yuri, with the bomb plant, only 11 health to his name. Looking to try and pillage this bomb site if he can. Won't be happening. Stanislaw from the backside, 14-7. And should also highlight here, Ven, that means the Brazilians haven't won a single round in their T-half.
That is very true. Again, started off with NRG winning pistol and not dropping the ball in the following rounds. And I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, it does mean, I mean, Fury's been able to get bomb plants quite often, but it hasn't been bomb plants where they've had a realistic chance of winning the after plant. It's been kind of desperation buys with, or desperation plants with clock running down, or simply just off of ecos where the only goal is to get a bomb plant down.
Yep.
Sure, it is, you know, helping their economy in terms of getting these kind of buys round after round after round, but they need to find the even trades earlier on to actually have a shot at winning rounds, which definitely becomes an issue at this stage. Cirque opens up onto Art once more. He's definitely not been able to have the impact here later on in the T-half.
Now, against a team that is this well coordinated and in this kind of form, Art running off by himself, you could see no one else was even remotely close to him.
Yeah.
That's just a freebie. NRG are not going to miss out on that chance. Best case scenario is a 1-for-1 trade. Stanislaw gets flashed on top of the blue train. He is being found, but still gets a kill. It looked like he was fully flashed, had his hand over his eyes. Breeze just cleans up. There's no chance for Fury to get back onto this site now. Quesarado 1-on-4. He's hoping that someone's maybe going for a flank. He can get that first kill under his belt. He has time at the very least, but no grenades to his name either.
Yeah, him walking down this lower ramp is going to be a bit of a death trap, and he realizes that as well. He doesn't just want to give up his life. Still really hoping that somebody from NRG is going to go for a flank, but they have no reason to really move out of their position. They know the bomb is down on the bomb chain. They got eyes on it. Quesarado, I mean, 45 seconds. You might want to try to save. Obviously, hold on to that AK going into the next round, but it's a lot of times to try to kill, and it's not like NRG in a position where they need to save their money. Breezy being the one with the least in the bank right now at 2.2. With Stanislaw being the one having gone down. He's sitting at 9K roughly. So there's never going to be an issue for NRG to rebuy here, so they can happily go for a hunt if they wanted to. Seems like they just want to keep it nice and simple, though, holding off the bomb, making sure that a 15th round is going to be on the board. So map point for NRG right off the bat. So far, a perfect CT half.
Maybe just showing a bit of respect to Quesarado. He is a player that can quickly turn the dynamic of the round. If you give him a free kill or two, it's definitely a clutchable situation for him. It does mean they can save the AK, as you highlighted, but it's not as if their economy is fantastic behind that.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to do much. I mean, regardless if it's eco round, buy round, what have you, even if they've had ops on Art as well, just not seemingly finding footing here on this T side. It's hard to do as well when you have players like Breezy playing as well as he is. 26 frags to his name right now.
The buy MP5, MAC-10. Do have 3 assault rifles and enough smokes to make a set play on either site.
Again, Ivy with a no nades, and well, Breezy's not going to be fumbled by that.
Sweet Jesus.
Might as well get a third.
Just give him the ace.
Yeah.
Let's get this map done.
Get him to 30. Tarek's going to go down to Able J, so at least there is some response, but he takes significant damage as well during the process. 2v4. Only one flash as well to get into yard here. They do have the bomb on their back, but that's about as positive as it gets.
Naval J is going to find Cirque. There's the first spray, and Ethan is going to scumbag away the potential ace. And Breeze did pick up a 4K, but fittingly, he started off the round win streak, and he will finish off too. 16-7 NRG on their choice of map looked almost invincible.
Yeah, there was just no doubt when they swapped sides who was looking like the better team there. Breezy obviously leading the charge, but as you mentioned, everybody on the side of NRG came in, had their impact plays throughout the game. Stanislaw with a couple of clutches, Cirque obviously with some timely off frags, and had the whole Tark debacle with that SMG in the first buy round, right? Around the E-box, just staying alive. So pretty impressive showing from NRG in a map that they've been looking shaky on at times, and you know, they've done so versus Furia as well. Last time they met on this map, it was 16-13, so definitely a close bout. This time, no real question as to who the better team was.
No, it seems like the more time that NRG get together, the stronger they're just going to become. And
Yeah.
Furia were the victims of that here. They were always second best. As we said before, though, first off was close. The T-half was a shambles, and if that happens on Nuke, this could be over pretty fast.
Yeah, especially when you consider how they base a lot of their T-sides off of, right? It's going to be Art, it's going to be his aggression, whether it's solo, whether he has someone backing him up. A lot of it is started either off a kill by Art or a death by Art that, again, draws attention, allows for somebody else to actually get the room to work with. I'm not sure if that's going to work out as well on Nuke. Again, I had my worries about Furia for this this kind of a thing to happen once they get figured out, once teams start looking into them. And I think we're starting to see that kind of develop. Now really the question becomes whether or not Furia can adapt to something different when their playstyle is not going to just give them a bit of an upper hand from the get-go.
Yeah, and you know, you highlighted Art there. We saw him a couple of times on the